Since 22nd April 2025, when Pakistan-sponsored jihadists killed point-blank range 26 innocent civilians, never forget, 25 Indian men, 1 Nepalese citizen in Pahalgam. India in turn launching massive strikes at terror targets, Bahawalpur, Muridke, deep inside Pakistan. And then later, in response again to Pakistan's military bases as well. You think that the world is watching all of this unfold, realizing how India, having faced enough, has said enough is enough and will come together in this fight against terror to isolate Pakistan. However, the International Monetary Fund approved a $1 billion loan to Pakistan. Now, there had to be a tranche given to Pakistan. It was part of the big package. But I'm surprised over the timing. And then supplemented it by another $1.4 billion for a climate fund. So the loan to Pakistan from the International Monetary Fund stands at $2.3 billion. Approved under the Extended Funded Facility, $1 billion, and the Resilience and Sustainability Facility, $1.3 billion. Is this not a decision that India is correct to perceive as overlooking grave concerns about Pakistan? Let's take this one by one. IMF's reason to release this tranche at this time was that there has been a formal review of the policy and administrative reforms undertaken by the Pakistani establishment. They say that their policies, I quote them here, have delivered significant progress in stabilizing the economy, rebuilding confidence amid a challenging political environment. Review done by Pakistan establishment. Of course, they'll want to show all is well. Isn't it IMF's responsibility to check accountability on the same? And then climate fund, for what? Pakistan has literally been misusing and exploiting natural resources, attracting Chinese investments in the most sensitive regions of Pakistan. What policy reforms are we really talking about? They just passed a bill in the parliament to extract minerals and resources from one of their most climatically sensitive regions, Gilgit-Baltistan. Look at these visuals coming in from Gilgit-Baltistan. One over the atrocities from the Pakistan army against Pakistan government, and then they are the ones who are leading massive protests just last month, saying if the army and the government of Pakistan want to use their resources, they need to seek permission from every man, every woman, every child of Gilgit-Baltistan. Listen to the people at least. And in Balochistan, as per reports, Pakistan is converting the Gwadar port and other coastal areas into a Chinese stronghold. The Metallurgical Corporation of China has been mining gold and copper in the area since 2002. Yields of 25 tons of gold, 12 to 15,000 tons of copper at least on a regular basis. The Chinese have taken home 50% of these net profits from these sensitive regions and operations. Pakistan has taken about 48%. What did the Baloch people get? Only 2%. What benefits have gone to the Baloch people or that of Gilgit-Baltistan or other parts of POJK or across Pakistan from such funding from the IMF earlier? There is a reason that the Baloch Liberation Army has been launching attacks one after another against Pakistan establishment. Now at the IMF, what did India do? India put their view out very clearly and abstained in the vote. That is because there's absence of a negative vote. But India gave evidence that the heavy damage inflicted on terror operational hubs have been done. Is it not for the world to see how any such funding at a time like this to Pakistan can be misused to amp up their terror infrastructure, to again launch attacks against India and Indian civilians? Why wouldn't it be used again in the name of trying to stabilize Pakistan, but instead divert it to their terror infrastructure? It has been clear that Pakistan military has been protecting the Jaish operational headquarters in Bahawalpur. Security and assistance were given to them. That they were protecting the Muridke base of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, both bases hit by India and with evidence. That they were arranging launch pads in Pakistan-occupied Jammu Kashmir rather than develop POJK and help their people. But a bigger question, where was all this money coming from in the Pakistani establishment if they were facing such a cash crunch, if they are unable to carry on with limited amount in their treasury but have the money to be able to protect and secure all these areas? The Finance Ministry of India raised specific concerns of the efficacy of the loan and also on the possibility of misuse of the funding being used for the state-sponsored cross-border terror. It reminded the world that Pakistan has had a poor record of adherence to IMF's program conditions. And the IMF should know. It has recorded India's efforts to succeed, to steadily head up to number 4 in the world economy. Despite the largeness and population and internal issues within India, we did not turn into a beggar. Remember, we were that bright point in the dark horizon during the COVID pandemic. India became a positive contributor to the world while we were fighting terror from Pakistan all these years, from Kashmir to Mumbai. But only to do what? To watch Pakistan receive over $2 billion in aid. Finance Ministry statement has also pointed out that Pakistan had been rescued by the IMF 28 times in 35 years. Had the previous program succeeded, do you think Pakistan would have still needed the money? And if it hasn't succeeded, why not? Okay, let's assume. Let me be a kinder person today and believe that Pakistan is in a dire state and must be provided financial assistance. Where is the transparency? Where is the accountability? Will the IMF be confident that they will be provided with regular evidence-based confirmation of the success of their funding? On social media, there have been immense reactions from users. For example, India's high-profile weddings cost more than this funding, or it's a loose change for the traders in Chandni Chowk. But one important comment has also come in. India has not taken a loan from the IMF since 1993 because we like to really stabilize ourselves. The G7 nations, my final point, have condemned the Pahalgam attack, rightly so, called for de-escalation between India and Pakistan. I get that. But their support for the IMF decision has raised questions too. Why is it so difficult for some countries to take a stand against a nation that is globally known to shelter terrorists? Hello USA, for example, your own mention of Osama bin Laden. Where was he found, if not in Pakistan? India may be disappointed today because of what the IMF did, but we also realize that we'll have to continue to speak up. We'll have to bring evidence. Because if people of Pakistan are suffering today for the lack of money, their establishment needed to face some accountability. That hasn't happened, especially at a time when more funding is being given to them, where they can usually and will clearly use it to re-establish their terror camps. Amid all of this, the question of the efficacy of the IMF system, priorities of the Western world, and the curious query from Y side. Why the decision could not have been deferred, at least for a few weeks when India and Pakistan were facing these escalated tensions. Think about it. Thank you for watching.